Would anyone like to hear a story? From the sapphire seas here at Kernow, all the way up to the grey North Sea at John O'Groats, from the eastern Isle of Thanet to the western Isles of Anglesey and the Isle of Man, we bring you 77 British tales with a tourist guide to each one, all retold for the 21st century by me, Brother Bernard. The reason that these wonderful people are here today on a sunny day at Tintagel Castle is more likely than not because of King Arthur, because of Uther Pendragon and Merlin and the fantastic spell that he cast in this castle, which led to the conception of the greatest king that Britain ever knew. But shortly after the supposed time of Arthur, there was another story told here, or rather there were events that happened here which led to gossip, which led to the story which you will find in Tales of Britain. And that is Tristan and Isolde. It's a tragic tale which has stayed with us all these years and has been made into movies and, of course, a very popular opera. The question is, why do we still tell the story of Tristan and Isolde 1,500 years later? And the reason is because it's a story about two very sexy people having a horrible time of it. And if you look around now at the supermarket checkout magazines and Twitter moments, you'll see that's still a story that people love to this day. Sexy people having a horrible time. From Tintagel in Cornwall, here we are in Edinburgh, doing our first ever Scottish show, and somewhere over in that direction over there is Arthur's Seat, which is a possible place for Camelot, because although our Arthurian stories might be rooted in Cornwall and the southwest, we also, in Tales of Britain, are going to have a full page of all the alternative sites for Camelot, for Camlan, for Avalon, and Scotland is of course absolutely bursting with them. But anyway, that's enough blather. We've got a show to do. Bring down that wooden bat with a thunk on his ugly bonce. Bonk up! The bogle didn't reel or stagger, he simply burst with a cascade of rotten kipper and poo-smelling gunk, which poured and slopped down into the well, and that bogle was never seen again. All thanks to Molly Wood. Of course, there are many, many Scottish tales in our collection, especially down around the borders, things like Tam Lin and Thomas the Rhymer and who knows what. But there aren't necessarily a huge amount of stories based in Edinburgh itself, wonderful though it is to be here. And perhaps the most famous one of all, where's the little fella? There he is, Greyfriars Bobby, maybe in volume 2. Of course, Edinburgh is the home of Robert Louis Stevenson, the actual place where Deacon Brodie, the inspiration for Jekyll and Hyde, came from, and so many other scary, spooky stories, and pipers as well. The blue remembered hills of South Shropshire harbour many stories, but ours is based right here at Stokesay Castle. Somewhere in the dry moat back there, you should find a couple of newts enjoying a silver key which unlocks a magical chest full of the gold owned by the evil warring giants, who you'll find sleeping under that hill over there, the Stokesay Key.
Who knows what sleeping giants lie under these Shropshire hills? Did anyone see a silver key? I'm looking for a silver key and lots of money. Anyone seen lots of money?
And so, with darkness streaking all too soon to the autumn skies, we come here to the hills of Abergavenny. Hills festooned with all kinds of tales for our first ever Welsh Tales of Britain storytelling show. Here in central Abergavenny, you'll find a fine stone circle. built to commemorate the National Eisteddfod here in 2016 because there are so many stories to tell here in Wales. But in Abergavenny itself, we have to go up into the hills to the site where Jack a Kent had his fights and silly tricks against someone or other called the Devil. While Brother Bernard blabbers on, at last the 21st century anthology of British folktales has finally arrived in all the even half-decent independent bookshops of the land, nay, the world over, available online and off. 77 legends revived for a new generation with tourist guides to each location. Buy a copy to enjoy out loud today, or come and enjoy Tales of Britain live somewhere near you. As they flew, they promised to spread Molly's name and tall tales of her kindness far and wide throughout the Isles. This story was their idea. The End. And so, from Land's End to John O'Groats, from Anglesey to Thanet, we have stories from all around the British Isles. From Scotland, Wales, Kernow, and England, and the Isles. At last, it's Tales of Britain. Available online or ask for it at your nearest independent bookshop today. Buy Tales of Britain, or I'll jump.